Hello and welcome to my DVD review of Cabin in the Woods, starring Chris Hemsworth. Now, when I first saw the trailer for Cabin in the Woods, I didn't know anything about it. After I saw the trailer, I was just like, that film looks generic and stupid. Then I heard it was amazing, and I did get to see it in theaters, unfortunately. But now I'm here to review it on DVD, so what did I think of it? But before I can tell you that, I just want to say there are spoilers in this review. So if you have not seen Cabin in the Woods, please, please, please do not watch this review. Okay, so I'm getting into spoilers starting now. Okay, so I love this movie. This film was phenomenal. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. This film was great. It was amazing. Let me get into the acting. So the acting, I feel it was standard, but that's good, because it's supposed to be spoofing a ton of horror movies and how their acting is never really good. And so I think that's a compliment, I guess, that their acting was standard. But the best actors in it were the two guys who ran the little lab where they had all the nightmare monsters, as they call them in the film, and the Stoner. I really, really liked the Stoner, which I will also get into in the writing. But yeah, he was phenomenal. I loved his little mug that was a bong thing. That was hilarious. I mean, this film was overall hilarious. Let me get to the directing. Now, I forgot the director's name, but he also co-wrote this with Joss Whedon. Again, get into the writing in just a second, and then I'll get into major spoilers. But you know, I don't want to spoil anything just in case. I love the tone they set for this movie, trying to make it feel like this is a cheap, generic horror movie, but it wasn't, because it was actually a very, very funny, clever horror comedy. I loved that. I loved how he set the tone. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. Bravo to that director. Let me get into the writing. The strong point of this film. All these characters are exactly the horror film cliches. I mean, really, they are. They literally pointed out at the end. And I love this because they're like, oh no, we gotta send this gas out to make them want to split up like in the horror movies. And that was hilarious. I mean, they had to send out pheromone gas so they would have sex. That was hilarious because, you know, in all the horror movies they have sex, so that's how they had to do it. And like, I feel like horror movies are actually real, and we're just watching the security footage, and now I'm going to think that those guys are always going to be controlling it, and those guys themselves, they were absolutely hilarious. I especially love the joke with the merman, which I'll get into in a second, and I loved it. I loved this movie. The writing was awesome. I loved how when they walked in, they had to make them sit in things, like one had to be the Macho Man, one had to be the scholar, one had to be the whore, and just one had to be the virgin, one had to be the fool. I thought that was hilarious. I thought this whole movie was hilarious. I laughed a ton. I loved this movie. I was never scared in this movie, but that's not the point. This film is supposed to be a comedy. I am convinced this film was made to be a comedy, and I'm pretty sure that was the intention. Joss Whedon keeps writing great dialogue. I haven't seen much of his TV work, because I don't watch a lot of TV myself. I should, though, because his dialogue from the Avengers, even that with superheroes, was really, really good. Did he write that? I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up. But yeah, I love all his writing. He is phenomenal. All that I've seen of him, that is. And let me get into the spoilers. So if you're still here, you really didn't get any spoilers, except a few minor ones, if you haven't seen this movie. But really, if you are still here, spoilers. Okay, so let me get into the spoilers. First of all, Sigourney Weaver's cameo at the end. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was awesome. It was phenomenal. It was so cool. I mean, she plays a perfect villain. Sigourney, I forgive you for the cold light of day. I forgive you for the cold light of day because of this movie. Another thing I loved is when they finally they took the elevator down and they saw all the monsters, the werewolf. I was just like, oh man, it was so cool. It was so awesome. I was flipping out. And I love when all the monsters get set loose. My two favorite nightmare warriors or something. They call them like nightmare monsters, I believe, in the film. And I loved the merman, which was a running gag if you've seen the movie. How when he finally meets the merman, it's when he's going to die, one of the control men. He at the beginning of the movie, you know, he says, "Oh, I'll never meet a merman." I thought that was hilarious that he died like that. He's probably a toss-up for my favorite. Also with the unicorn, when the unicorn stabs the guy, that was hilarious. This movie was hilarious, and I thought it was very clever how they incorporated the ending with it was gods they had to feed with these horror movie cliches and all that, and it was all mythology, so it made a lot more sense than it should. I mean, this film was phenomenal. This film was amazing. It's one of my favorites this year. It's definitely in the top 3. It might even be number 1. It probably is, in fact. I'm going to give this movie an A+. And you know what? Just because of it, I'm also going to give this film an instant classic. And going way back to my original reviews, I'm going to give this movie 4 out of 4 stars. Yeah, it gets all 3 ratings I've done because that's how awesome it is. This film, it was just phenomenal. If you have not seen this movie, why are you still watching? But if you have, then you know how awesome it is. I'm going to watch it again for a long time. I'll be showing my friends it. It's phenomenal. Tell me what you thought of The Cabin in the Woods down below. Oh, and if you're going to spoil things, please let the people know if they're reading the comments, but they paused the review. Let them know before you spoil anything, just in case. Please like, favorite, and subscribe for more.